me just say that as part of universal truth, I believe that there's certain immutable laws, laws of gravity, things like that. The things that no matter how much we want to change them, we have to live within them. And I believe that there's also an immutable law when it comes to change, and that is that nothing can exist, survive, thrive, and succeed in its original form. But I want you to be thinking about this next 48, 49 minutes in terms of your own business. Don't think about it from a concept standpoint. Don't think about it from a presentation standpoint. Don't think about it from your neighbor's standpoint. Think about it from the perspective of your own business, your own life, your own career, and what you're going to do when you walk out of this room. The last thing that I'll share with you in terms of immutable laws for right now is that I believe that success does not reside on a continuous straight line. When you go out there, one of the things you're going to be faced with besides change is the ability to consistently take the right action, because you're going to go like this maybe and plateau, and then you may go a little bit and then plateau. You might even dip down a little bit because the economy may change, your business may change, your market may change, your product may change. There could be something that changes in the market for us. It could be some of the things that Seth Godin was talking about, the fact that trends are changing, or times are changing, or technologies are changing, or as Larry was talking about last night, the information vehicles that people use may change, and you have to have the ability to adapt in not only your actions, not only your environment, but also to recognize that there's going to be times where you're going to have to adapt your approach, and you're going to have to be prepared for that. Because I think when I speak with people, when I counsel people, when I coach people, when I consult with companies, it's very easy to get immediate success. It's very easy to get immediate progress. It's really easy to get immediate improvement. The most difficult thing to do is to sustain that improvement. And one of the biggest obstacles that I see is that someone is just assuming that because they did better today than yesterday, that the next day they'll do even better. And after a while, they stop doing the things that they knew that they should be doing all along. 6 months later, you go back in, you go back to the fundamentals, you go back to the foundational principles, you go back to some of the same things, and the progress starts again. The first thing you have to do is that you have to have a vision for yourself. And I know that's not the first time you've heard that you have to have a vision for yourself. But I'm going to talk to you about what a vision is, why it's important, and how you can make sure that you have not a correct vision, but an effective vision. The first thing is that vision is the ability to articulate and clearly see what's possible. Vision is a component of leadership. It's also something that if you have a clear vision will keep you what I call the drift effect, and what I've heard other people refer to as the drift effect. And that is that if you know exactly what it is you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, what it's going to look like, what you're looking to see, what you're looking to do, what you're looking to have, what you're looking to accomplish, anything that starts to get you off course, you have something to focus your eye and your resources, your time, your talent, and the energies that you have back to where you intended to go. It's also the key to creating effective change. Because change is easy. Anyone in this room can change anytime. Having an effective change is the key. And how do you do that? You have to have something to measure it against. And what do you measure it against? You measure it against your vision. What is it that you intended to do versus where you are, where you're going, where you ended up, and what you're seeing? You have to shift your mindset to greater value, greater benefit, greater contribution. And I know that's not the first time you heard it here. You hear it from Jay all the time in the Strategy of Preeminence. You heard it from Seth Godin. You heard it from Stephen M.R. Covey yesterday. And I'm sure you heard it around the tables. But let me share something with you that I think will expand it just a little bit further. That value that you have to create, it's not just about creating value in your marketplace. It's not just about creating value for your clients. It's not just about creating value for yourself. It's about creating value for all of your stakeholders, and that includes your partners, that includes your vendors, that includes your employees, that includes people on your board of directors, that includes your investors, that includes the people you come in contact with, that includes the people that you network with. It includes, in my opinion, everyone that you come in contact with in the broader community and the world itself. Now, how do you do that? Well, I think the first thing that you have to do in order to create that shift is that you have to understand that your contribution, your obligation goes far beyond just your marketplace, just goes far beyond just your clients, far beyond just your prospects. But also you have to be able to clearly understand what the value proposition or the value articulation or the value statement is for each of those dynamics. I mean, if your business is successful, that's great for you. It's great for your employees. It's great for your board. Great for your stockholders. Great for your shareholders. Great for your boss. But it may not be great for the world. And I think if you can take what it is that you're trying to do with your vision, and you can take that and create a value proposition, and take your actions and create a greater benefit, a greater value for everyone that you come in contact with, it elevates not only your performance, but it elevates your intent, and it elevates your results, and elevates your effect to a much higher level. And in my opinion, this isn't an immutable law, it's strictly an opinion. I believe with that mindset, with that operational philosophy, with that perspective, you cannot not be successful. Because at some point in time, you're going to create value for enough people in enough ways that it's going to separate you and distinguish you from your competitors, from other people who have the traditional mindset that they provide a service, provide a product, they get $1 in return. At the end of that, the transaction is complete. So when you think about some of the things that Jay talks about in the strategy of preeminence, or some of the other speakers that you've heard about, I'll invite you to expand that perspective, to go beyond falling in love with your clients, falling in love with your customers, and take it to your prospects, take it to your marketplace, take it to your community, take it to the world. Take it much larger than perhaps you would have thought about it before. Peter Drucker, who is someone I consider a mentor, I've never met the man, but he's someone that I've studied extensively, especially because I come from a background of corporate leadership, corporate management. He said that one of the critical components is being able to replace the quest for success with the quest for contribution. Now, he was talking about that as leadership in an organization. But I believe in today's paradigm, because this came from a book that he wrote, I think, back in 1986 called The Effective Executive, I think the world and the perspective has shifted far beyond just our own companies. And if you think about how the world has changed just in the last 10 years with the advent of the internet and the fact that there's so much globalization, so much inter-country commerce, so much more import, export, so much of a shift in the different dynamics of every economy around the world, the different sectors that exist in common markets. You know, if you go back 25 years ago, the primary service or the primary product or the primary occupation in the United States was manufacturing. Now it's more of a service.